everybody. Welcome to the SyFy Sistas podcast, where we give you our point of view. I'm Tamia Harper, and of course, today I'm joined by my beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful sisters, Yvette Blackman-Tom.
Hello.
And Fran T.
What's happening, y'all? What's happening?
Oh, Fran came in all laid back with the sultry "what's happening, y'all."
That's what happened when you live alone. You don't talk to nobody. Your voice is
You still got that bedroom voice.
I do.
Right?
I do.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking that because it's summertime, like you were trying to get all sultry or something like, we were going to be doing it in the pot,
Oh, off the dock. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Y'all know it. If you don't know that song, look up the Blackbirds and Rock Creek Park, y'all.
Yeah, man.
We have
Oh my God.
another, I know, right? We have another scene breakdown episode for you guys. We did it the first time and we liked it a lot. Like, I think, right? You guys enjoyed it?
I had a good time, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice to go back and watch with a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, with the purpose and not just be like have it on in the background and not really be paying attention.
Exactly.
So we liked it so much, we figured we'd do it again. And here we are, back again. And, as we record this, the season 5, right? 4. Okay, we got one more. Okay. Season
or half
4.
of one.
You're right. Of Strange New Worlds has just begun. So the first episode of season 4 is available to stream now. And so we figured, why not revisit the first season of Strange New Worlds and do a scene breakdown? We all love this show. You know, it's got its highs and its lows. It's got its peaks and its valleys, just like every Star Trek show. You know, everybody is no secret out there that we adore this cast. So it's nice we figured we revisit the scene breakdown for Strange New Worlds season 1. Now, if you don't remember season 1 and you don't want to be like spoilery or you want to be up to date, pause this episode, go back and watch it real quick and come back and revisit us. Or listen to the episode and then go back and watch season 1 again.
Yeah.
Either way works just fine.
It does. It really does.
So our breakdown, in case you missed the last episode that we did like this, or you're just coming into it, or you're listening to us for the first time, the breakdown, how we have it is, the first category is the scene that made you fall in love with Star Trek all over again. I love that category. I like all of these categories. Then there's the scene that broke your heart. And then the third one is the scene that was better than the entire episode. There might be some shade. And then there's the scene that hits different on a rewatch. And then the final one is the scene that changed the way you looked at a character. So that's our criteria and how we're going to be breaking down these episodes. And I'm going to go ahead and kick it off. Not me personally. I'm going to hand it off to somebody else to kick it off. With the scene that made you fall in love with Star Trek all over again. Season 1, Strange New Worlds. Here we go. Who's going first?
Yvette.
Oh, I went first last time.
Yeah, she went first last time.
Okay.
Oh, no, she didn't.
I did.
You did too.
Okay, well, I'll go first this time.
Okay.
All right. I love it.
The scene that made me fall in love with Star Trek all over again, it was episode 4, A Quality of Mercy, with Pike.
That's 9. That's 10.
Oh, you know what? I got that mixed up with something else I was going to mention. Sorry about that.
No worries.
It's episode 10, A Quality of Mercy, when Pike is talking to his old self and his young self. I'm like, come on, this is like look at this. This is Trek. This is pure Trek. You know, when he had, got the time crystal and all that stuff. And he was just talking to himself and what should I do? And I'm like, okay, Trek. Yeah, this is my Trek. So why I said that was about episode 10 with this, because y'all know this was the reworking of A Balance of Terror from TOS. And that was episode 10 of the first season of TOS. So excuse my faux pas there. And I know it's supposed to be a scene. However, the whole episode was I loved it. I loved it. I'm like, oh, look at this. I was grinning and shit,
It was nostalgic,
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Because I love Balance of Terror. It's like I think, so for a long time, I always say this, for a long time, it was only like for years, there were two episodes of Star Trek that I would see all the time. I really didn't pay attention to it, but when I did, it was either Balance of Terror or the Enterprise incident. It was always those two. I'm like, are there any others? Like every time I would catch it, it would be either one of those, and I love both of those. But because every time you look at, like, oh, just like with TAS, it's always the one with Spock and his Sailot. I can't remember. Yesterday's I can't remember the name of that one. I forgot, but it's always one of those. But yeah, I get that. It's very nostalgic. Yeah. It's a classic episode. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
I like it.
So excuse that, because I'm of course looking at my notes and an episode. I'm like, no,
okay.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Wrong series. Okay.
All right. So your turn, Yvette.
Oh, okay. My scene that made me fall in love with Trek over again is from Children of the Comet, which I don't know why I thought I was doing something else. Hold on for a minute. Children of the Comet. Where are you?
Oh, and your thing? Season 1, episode 2.
Right. I got it, but
okay. Oh, you're looking for your stuff?
Yeah. You changed the order, so I didn't change
my bad.
Thing. No worries. Children of the Comet. While on a survey mission, the USS Enterprise discovers a comet is going to strike an inhabited planet. They try to reroute the comet, only to find that an ancient alien relic buried on the comet's icy surface is somehow stopping them. As the away team try to unlock the relic's secrets, Pike and Number One deal with a group of zealots. I think they're the shepherds, right?
Yeah.
Who want to prevent the USS Enterprise from interfering. So it's written by Henry Alonso Myers and directed by Maja Varillo, I think that. I apologize if I messed up your name. The scene that made me fall in love with Trek all over again was the scene where Spock and Uhura are breaking the comet's code by using music. And all I can think of is that in a few years, we will see Spock rocking that lute accompanying Uhura in Charlie X. It's all it made. And just like what Fran said about that episode 10, it's the same way with this one, because I'm falling in love with Trek because of this whole episode, because it is Uhura's episode.
Yes.
It's like her first episode ever. Like I know there's one episode of Trek where it's kind of like about her, but it's just not the same as this. This is like we're getting to know her, and I just love this episode. It's one of my favorites. And this is how Spock and Uhura become who they are, together. And it starts it, because we see them as they're, as it goes on, they are friends. They've been friends from that day on. They've been friends. And yeah, when I just, it, like Fran, it gives me it's my franchise. I love it. It's that kind of thing, You just get all giddy. Like, I just love it here.
Aw. I love that one. That's a great. I love that episode too. Like
Yeah.
a lot, a lot, a
Mhm.
lot.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
It's so
if this
good.
had been a ranking the episodes one, it would have been up there in my top like 3 for this
I
season.
agree. I agree.
For sure. Hmm. Yeah, and especially like because we get to see, like you said, it's the seeds of like everything that we found out about these characters before, but we're getting to see them walk through and discover it
Yeah.
themselves,
Yep.
Mhm.
you know.
I
And
love
I
that.
just think, I mean, that's one of the things I love so much about this show in
Mhm.
particular is that we have these characters before they became the very capable officers that they became later, that we knew
Mhm.
later, right? and
Yeah.
and it really makes them more approachable in a lot of ways, um because it reminds us all, they remind us all that we have to everybody starts somewhere,
Agreed.
and
Yes. Hmm.
we're all diamonds in the rough, and we go through all these experiences, and then we get to be like who we present one day, and people go, "Ooh, I want to grow up and be like you," you know.
Hmm. Yeah, but they don't realize it took a long time to get there.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yep. All right, Tamia.
Okay, well, my scene that I chose that made me fall in love with Trek all over again was actually from the very first episode of this season, and it's Strange New Worlds, season 1, episode 1. Teleplay by Akiva Goldsman, story by Akiva Goldsman and Alex Kurtzman and Jenny Lumet, and directed by Akiva Goldsman. So when one of Pike's officers goes missing while on a secret mission for Starfleet, Pike has to come out of his self-imposed exile. He must navigate how to rescue his officer while struggling with what to do with the vision of the future he's been given. So the scene that I chose from this episode was Pike's speech at the end to the people of this planet, Kylie 279, which was so quintessential Star Trek. I mean, you get a great captain's speech about that, talks about the philosophies of the Federation, right?
Hmm.
And but this one was inspiring because Pike, these people were basically as a stand-in for Earth, right, in our
Hmm.
current
Yes.
day,
Hmm.
and he showed them what his Earth was like in the 20, he showed them what his Earth is like now, like for him then and currently with the
Yeah.
Federation, and poverty's been eradicated, blah 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 blah, right? But he
Hmm.
showed them where Earth was in our history, and our history of war and violence and extreme poverty and need and destitution, and how they destroyed the planet, to illustrate to these people that they're on the same path,
Hmm.
like, so he showed them like he showed them a version of Earth that looked exactly like their world, because there was a time when both societies were at the same developmental stage, and then he showed them the best case scenario and the worst case scenario,
Yeah. Hmm.
and I thought it was a really wonderfully crafted speech, that turned out not to be quite as preachy as some of our captain's speeches can be, but really,
Uh-oh.
right, but really, really embodied the hope for the future that Star Trek means to me. And like, I remember when I watched it the first time, like, I watched it on the screeners, because we get screeners for these things, so we get to see them ahead of time. And I was like in tears by the time
Hmm.
that was over. And then when I watched it when it premiered streaming as well, I was in tears again, because it means that much to me, because I believe in these philosophies that we espouse.
Yes.
They mean so much to me. So it was put really eloquently, and I thought it was a really powerful example of communication and diplomacy, and the best of what we can be.
Mhm.
I agree. I
Okay.
agree with that one. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I
Yay.
mean, that was a total Star Trek right there.
Hmm. Right?
Hmm.
Quintessential.
Yes. Most definitely. Go ahead, Franny T.
Okay, the next one is the scene that broke my heart.
Hmm.
And I'm
Hmm.
going right back to episode 10, A Quality of Mercy.
Okay.
In the uh, future that he saw, that Captain Pike saw, if he did what he did, if he changed stuff. When they showed Spock with his body so mangled and him being dead on that bio bed,
Mm.
I'm like, oh my gosh, the visuals of that for me was Spock. And when they explain, like, he has so much he needs to do, and he needs to be here to do it, you know.
Mm. Hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, and then I thought of, of course, I thought about the character's history and his actions and all the stuff that he did, and because I went all the way to reuniting, the Romulans. It's he started that, yeah, the Romulans and the
Reunification.
Vulcans and everything. But the scene with him, I think half his leg was gone, and
Mhm.
it was just, and his face was all. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I don't want Spock to be dead and look like that. It broke my heart, y'all. So
Oh.
I
yeah,
agree. I agree. I agree so much that that's mine also, but
Wow.
in a different way.
okay.
Um, what breaks my heart is that the last scene in that alternate future, Pike realizes that if he tells the cadets what he witnessed on Borath
Hmm.
of their future, if he warned them not to show up, he would be trading his fate for Spock.
Hmm.
Because Spock, like you said, is in currently in sick bay, with radiation burns, um, across 40% of his body, massive cerebral trauma, and spinal fractures, and
Mhm.
massive loss of blood, after the Romulan attack. And
Hmm.
his future self tells him, every time you try to change your path, Spock dies. Um,
Mm.
and
Right. Hmm.
the
Mhm.
so Spock is the only way to get long lasting peace with the Romulans.
Yep.
Mhm.
So no matter what, Pike has to suffer his future.
His
Yeah.
his fate.
His fate is his fate.
Mhm.
And now he knows why he has to do that, because a lot of people live life and you don't know why you have to go through these things, but I believe that usually you have to go to so something else could happen, and
Hmm.
I think it that breaks my heart, because I know Pike, he's a good captain, he tries to do the right thing, and he loves Spock. And as we know, because you go back to the menagerie and how much Spock loves him
Yeah.
so much
Hmm.
that he's willing to give up everything for him.
Yeah.
And you see here that Pike has given up everything for him. So he's
Hmm.
just, if he changes it, Spock will suffer the same exact fate that he would. And that just broke my heart. You
Mhm.
Yeah.
know, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
man, 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 man. So, yeah,
Yeah.
just even talking about it, I was like, oh my God,
I know. I know.
poor
It gets me
man,
choked. It gets me choked up,
poor man. Yeah, I
Hmm.
think about that scene in Discovery when he sees it, he falls back and he screams and he goes, he's just overwhelmed,
Yeah.
and he's like, I am a captain. I'm a captain in Starfleet, and I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
because we all know that scene,
We
so
all, yeah, well, yeah.
seeing him in that box, you know,
Mhm.
Oof. Yes, that's
Yeah.
it.
Well, both of those are great and, really awesome takes on the same episode,
Mm-hmm.
really cool. Mine is totally different from you guys. It's it's episode 6, Lift Us Where Suffering Cannot Reach. Um, this one's written by Robin Wasserman and Bill Wolkoff and directed by Andy Armaganian. A threat to an idyllic planet reunites Captain Pike with the lost love of his life. To protect her and a scientific holy child from a conspiracy, Pike offers his help and is forced to face unresolved feelings of his past. So this one did like such a trick on me, on all of us, like as the viewers, because we are very used to our heroes saving the day
You took
for really worthwhile causes. And what we found out in this episode was that we did not have all the facts.
Not at all.
We had
None.
not have all the facts. First of all, I love this episode because it's very reminiscent and I think intentionally an homage to one of Ursula Le Guin's most famous short stories, that now I forget the title of, but it's the same premise.
Okay.
And it's one of her very where basically, you guys, we find out, if you haven't seen this episode, it's a spoiler. So we find out that this idyllic planet that's like this utopia, it's all its peace and prosperity are tied up into the ritual sacrifice of a child. And it also reminded me a lot of N.K. Jemison's Broken Earth trilogy, where they were using these particularly talented children as the energy source for the planet as well. And so like this and what we see in the scene, you see the child like strapped into a chair, his sacrifice. And like think about like how everybody thinks about like the Dalai Lama, and like how the Dalai Lama is chosen as a child and revered as a godhead figure. That's basically how this child was revered in this society. And but then the child is trapped into a chair, and next thing you know, tubes and stuff are all attached all over him and literally sucking his life force and energy out of him. And what made it so heartbreaking to me is like, because you think that the whole 3/4 of the episode, Pike is running around trying to save this child but it's from the perspective of the people who were actually trying to sacrifice this child, and we don't know that, right? But we think because this crew is the stand-in for us, like we think we're doing the right thing.
Right.
We think we're saving a child from these mercenary kidnappers. And it turns out it's the child's father and a bunch of other people who say that, our peace and prosperity is at too high of a price.
Yes.
We should not be sacrificing children so we can live happy and carefree. And that was the supposedly radical element, right, of the society that must be squashed at all costs. So it's heartbreaking in a lot of instances, but the really heartbreaking part of it to me was we don't save the kid.
Yeah.
In this episode, we don't, and when we're not used to that in Star Trek world.
Right.
It was such a beautiful cautionary tale, but it was horrifying. And it just broke my heart it broke my heart for the child. It broke my heart for his father. It broke my heart for our crew, who had to live with the fact that they failed and that they had been manipulated.
Oof.
It broke your heart on so many different levels. I just thought it was handled really beautifully. I thought they did a great job in this episode. It's one of my favorite episodes of the season, because it was written so well. But the boy actually goes up for the ascension, and Pike said it's too late. He goes to try to save him, and the woman who's the head of the society, who Pike had been, fooling around with, which is basically how his nose got all turned around in the wrong direction anyway. Uh-huh.
As usual.
As usual, right? Our captains and their genitalia, getting them in all sorts of compromising positions. So so Pike realizes, she says, well, it's too late anyway. Like the ascent, he's already hooked up. And like
No.
if you take him away, he's gonna die anyway.
Mm. God.
Yeah. Yeah. Which,
Oof. That episode is so heartbreaking. I actually skip it. Because it is, it is. The fact, yeah, I got fooled once. I'm not watching that thing again.
I've only seen it once.
Right. Because I was like, just like you said, we all got fooled. I was like, oh, dang, I can't watch this no more.
Right.
And still didn't get the guy. Didn't win.
Nope. Nope.
And like the only recourse they had was just to recommend to the Federation that this planet never be allowed into the Federation.
They didn't want to. That was the kicker.
Right. Exactly.
They could give a damn about
exactly. Like there's literally nothing that they could do.
It was nothing. You hear me? Absolutely nothing. They walked away with nothing.
And you were left with that, like this powerlessness and this futility, and that I also felt was very true of loss and grieving. And like there's nothing that you can do to change the situation, regardless.
Yeah.
But especially if you are part of it, and had a hand in it. I mean, that's something that entire crew is carrying with them now.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah. Alrighty. That's
I know,
a good one.
right? Thank you. That's a good one. All right. Well, let's lighten it up a little bit here. So the third one is the scene that was better than the entire episode. And which one of y'all wants to go first? You want to keep it in the same rotation, or you want to switch
why
it
not?
up? Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Episode 5, Spock Amok.
See, just saying the title gets us cracking up.
When number 1 and Leon realize they actually have a reputation as fun killers.
Where fun goes to die.
Yeah.
God dang.
Those two. What? And they were surprised.
That was the funniest part.
Right?
They were surprised that they
like,
were
wait, we're
that.
fun though.
Goes, people are stupid. You're fun. Oh my God.
You two? No.
Oh my goodness.
Those lower classmen doing the little bingo thing and all that. You two are fun killers. So
yeah, what is it, like Starfleet bingo? Is that what it's called?
There was something.
Enterprise bingo.
Enterprise bingo.
And, they they got a rude awakening that they were considered fun killers. All that. Those two, and I could see it. I could really see it.
We all did.
Yes. Yes.
It was not a surprise to anybody but them.
But them too.
Nobody was surprised. We're going, yeah, I see that.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much.
That was just episode 5, okay?
Yes, well, mine was also episode 5. I'll read. It's a comedy of manners when Spock has a personal visit in the middle of Spock and Captain Pike's crucial negotiations with an unusual alien species. That it doesn't even mention La'an and number 1 in that one. But mine, I read it because, and I'm sorry, it's written by Henry Alonso Myers and Robin Wasserman and directed by Rachel Letterman. I mentioned that because mine is the scene with these two knuckleheads. So Spock and T'Pring participate in a soul-sharing ritual. These two have switched bodies. They have been trying to switch back for hours. The door chimes, and they go back and forth about who should answer the door. It is the best
It is so
because
funny.
their monotone delivery is just top notch. And their chemistry is so good. They play off each other, both those actors. And what I love most, hijinks. I love some hijinks, especially when Vulcans are. It's like
Yeah.
it's T'Pring and Spock's body going, "What should we do?" Spock and T'Pring's body goes, "You must answer it. These are my quarters. Anyone who comes here will be expecting me to answer it." T'Pring and Spock's body goes, "I know how a door works."
These two. These two.
Oh my God. Those two. Uh, and then Pike comes in. He goes, "Y'all switch bodies." He was like, "Get out of town." And she goes, "We're not in a town." It's so corny that it's funny. I watched that. I just love that scene. It is just, the whole episode is great, right? But that scene, oh my God. It's just the way they bounce off each other. It's perfect. It's absolutely
I love
perfect.
that. That scene is funny. I wish that like sometimes I wish that like especially seeing the characterization of Spock and T'Pring now, like I wish they had gotten together because we would have had like a Fred and Ethel in space, you know? And if y'all don't know who Fred and Ethel are, go watch the I Love Lucy show. Can't you see it? Can't you just see them going like back and forth at each other? Like,
yes.
But Vulcan.
I can't see it no other way anymore.
That's it. That's it.
Perfect. That is absolutely perfect.
I'm glad y'all chose that one because mine is a little bit more serious.
Sassy. Is it sassy?
It's a little bit. I don't know if it's sassy. No, it's not. It's not. Okay. So mine was from the Serene Squall, which is episode 7. It's written by Bo DeMaio, hey, X-Men 97, whoop, whoop, and Sarah Tarkoff, and directed by Sidney Freeland. This description gives nothing about what's actually happening in my scene. While on a dangerous humanitarian mission, the crew of the USS Enterprise stumbles into a harrowing game of leverage with the quadrant's deadliest space pirate. So, I mean, that's kind of it. But, basically, Dr. Aspen / as we come to find out, Angel, the space pirate, is like gallivanting all over the Enterprise, pretending that she's that they are a Starfleet doctor, a psychiatrist or whatever.
Counselor, right?
Counselor, yeah. But she's got a doctor in front of her name, so they have a doctor in front of their name. But so they have been coupled up with Spock, which this was the most effective part of this episode, honestly, was like when they are working with Spock, like before the episode turned into a massive cheese fest, that just was straight like one cliche after another. The first part of the episode was actually really intriguing, and the interplay between these two characters were really intriguing because Angel, aka Dr. Aspen, was really acting like a real psychiatrist for a lot, and like having some very serious conversations with Spock that were actually very illuminating for him and for us. Like they were probing questions about identity, and I know that this episode almost fell into the Discovery preachy trap, because it almost got kind of preachy because we know that this was the first time that we had a main character, a trans person playing a main character in Star Trek. So they're very clearly addressing, trans identity and trans rights and stuff in this speech, but it it was also, they did it well. They because they were talking about Spock, and Spock has this duality, right? He's half human and half Vulcan. And this is something that a lot of us can identify with. He was talking about never really feeling at home either way. He doesn't feel fully human and he doesn't feel fully Vulcan. And Dr. Aspen slash Angel says to Spock, well, why do you have to be one or the other? And why can't you, and he's like, well, I don't know what I am without that. And she's like, why can't you be something new?
Mhm.
And Spock says, well, I don't know what that is. And they said to him, like, well, it's not my job to figure that out for you. And
Yeah.
I just thought that was a beautiful, beautiful scene, because it felt, even for me, like as a person who's grown up in straddling different cultures and stuff, and never really feeling at home in certain places for much of my life. Now I do, but it was still very, it resonated with me, and it gave me a lot of encouragement to continue to just be who I am. Just because it hasn't been, people don't know how to characterize me in a box or put me in a box, doesn't mean that I just can't do me and be the first to do me. Right.
Mhm.
And so I thought it was a great conversation. I thought it was really well handled without actually ending up being preachy. um and I thought it was far better than the rest of that whole damn episode.
Okay.
Agreed.
All right. All right now.
He said, agreed. Okay.
Agreed.
Hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. So scene that hit different on a rewatch.
Okay, now stay with me, please.
Okay, doke.
Okay.
Stay with me.
Gotcha.
So, two children of the comment. This is a deep dive, and I want
All
y'all
right.
to stay with me, okay?
We're here. Let's
Okay.
do it. Holding
Right.
on.
When I first looked at it, I looked at the part, where they fooled her and she went to eat, and then it was on the comment and the music, you know. However, I listened to the part about she wasn't too sure. Uhura, I'm talking about
Thank you.
Uhura. She wasn't too sure if Starfleet was really for her.
Hmm.
Then, and then because I looked at it more than once, and then I said, okay, are they trying to connect this with what Miss Nichols did back in 1966 or 7 when she was
Hmm.
Mhm.
thinking about leaving Star Trek, leaving the show, because she
Hmm.
wanted to go back to Broadway and everything. And she was just, playing a part, pushing the buttons and being seen. And she didn't know if she wanted to stay on the show. But the intervention, air quotes, with Dr. Martin Luther King changed her mind.
Hmm.
So I know in my head, I know I connected it. It's head, my head canon is that I
Hmm.
think that they was, I don't know why, maybe I'm reaching, but Uhura in doubt about where she wants to be, where she needs to be, and where she is.
Hmm.
And where she finally kind of stays. She kind of stays in both places. She stays on the Enterprise,
Hmm.
and Miss Nichols stayed with Star Trek until the end.
Hmm.
So now I may be off here, but that's the way
I
I
don't
see
think
it.
so.
I don't think so
I
either.
think you're
Yeah.
right on target.
I didn't know, I wouldn't have until you said it. I was like, oh yeah.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
When I
Yep.
looked at
That's
it
a
again, when I
yeah.
rewatched it, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I could see that.
yeah, because
Yeah, that's brilliant.
they have
Yeah.
and I don't know who wrote this, but I've always thought this new Trek. I think they have, for the most part, really brilliant writers,
Hmm.
and they would see the connection.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
yeah.
I
made
think
it
so.
sort of a meta
Mhm,
reference. Hmm.
mhm. So that's my
Mhm.
watch for Children of the Comet.
I think that's great. That's a
Hmm.
good one. Mhm.
That is. I think that's
Yep.
really good.
Mhm.
Definitely. Okay, so my scene that hit different on the rewatch is Memento Mori, episode 4, written by Davy Perez and Bo DeMeo, X-Men for life. Director Dan Liao. So my scene, okay, just like Fran, hold on.
Okay. All right.
Stay
We're
with
here.
me.
We're with you.
So, okay, so my scene is later on in the episode, but the setup is in the beginning. So we find out that there's this thing called Remembrance Day, right?
Mhm.
So what happens is um, everybody wears a pin with the insignia of the ship that you lost somebody on.
Mhm.
So everybody's wearing these pins and blah blah blah. So they're talking about it. The that there's a, I think it's Laon's security log is playing, and you see Chief Kyle walking through the hallways. Oh no, Chief Kyle is fixing something, and the
Mhm.
science officer is walking through the hallway, and he looks up at him and he goes, "Hey, what's up?" And he walks by him. So, this is the Gorn ship is happening. There's all kinds of stuff going on. It's bedlam going on. At the end, so the ship is in this, I think it's in a near a brown dwarf. So they're going to move to the center. And what's going to happen is if they do center mass in this brown dwarf, the hull is going to contract. So
Mhm.
Pike thinks if he does this, he goes in that the Enterprise is going to hold, right? But he believes that the Gorn ship won't, and he knows they're going to follow him.
Mhm.
So he tells them to clear the lower decks. And Spock goes, we have to close those bulkheads
Mm.
because otherwise the whole ship is going to implode.
Uh-huh.
So we go back to the hallway. Chief Kyle is running. You see him sprinting down the hallway, and that science officer is on
Mhm.
the floor and he's hurt.
Oh.
Chief Kyle comes, he's picking him up, like, come on, guy, let's go. I got you. I got you. The science officer sees that the bulkhead is going to close before he can get there because he's injured. He
Mm.
pushes Kyle through,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then as Kyle's going, no, we
Mm.
see this guy be blown away. It is so
Wow.
fast, and it's like he's blown out. It's the
Yeah.
same guy from the beginning. Like in the
Mhm.
rewatch, I never noticed that. But then all of
Right.
one day, I was like, wait, is that the same guy? So I just love that. Um, I love that you can watch these shows over and over again and still find new things.
Mhm.
And that is a deep, deep episode. There's a lot
Yeah.
of loss.
Yes.
There's a lot of loss and sorrow in that episode. People are they're grieving, but they have this Remembrance Day. We think about when it first came on, we're all still thinking about Discovery.
Mhm.
It was a lot. The audience is grieving, the people on the show, the characters are grieving. So I just, you know in my head canon, the reason why he looked up is because they probably had the same pin on, and
Mm.
maybe served there because they knew each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, that scene hit me totally different on a
Mm.
rewatch. And I mean, I've seen that a lot of times, and it took a while before I realized. I'm like, wait, is that the same? Because you notice the guy because the way he gets blown out, and then I noticed him. I said, wait, is that the same guy that gets blown out on the airlock? So I
Right,
watched it to
right.
see, and yeah, it's him. So yeah, that one.
Wow, that's a good one. I had seen that before, and I forgot about it until you brought it up for
Yeah,
your answer here.
hmm,
That was powerful too.
yeah.
It was a really that was a gut wrenching one too.
It was. I mean, the way that scene is beautiful. It's done really well too. The
Mhm.
direction, the camera work, just to see the way they have him blown. That
Mhm.
he was just
Yeah. It was good.
obliterated.
Right, right, right.
So yeah.
Well, no saving
Yeah.
him.
No,
Yeah,
no, not at all. And he
yeah.
knew that,
Wow,
yeah,
that's a good one.
yeah.
Well, mine was a little bit different too. Again, mine was episode 8, The Elysian Kingdom. And is written by Akilah Cooper, yay, and Onitra Johnson, yay. Two sisters, and directed by Amanda Rowe. So this was a all-female headed episode, which I love.
Yeah.
And this is the USS Enterprise becomes stuck in a nebula that is home to an alien consciousness that traps the crew in a fairy tale. Oh, these pesky nebulas that
Yeah.
that's another damn show. Write it down, producer.
Yeah, I got you.
These
A fairy tale, right?
what'd you say, Fran?
I say nebula. Coffee to a fairy tale.
Yeah.
It's coffee in that nebula.
Like, yeah, you got to do one about these self-aware these aware nebulas, but nebulae.
Maybe.
I think
Maybe.
is that the plural?
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, so the scene that actually hit different for me on the rewatch was when Dr. Mbenga has to let his daughter go. So like we've built up several episodes in the beginning, seeded through the series up until this point that we know that Dr. Mbenga's daughter is suffering from this really rare disease that he's been trying to find a cure for, but he has her he has her trapped inside the transporter buffer to try to, I think it was the transporter buffer, like that's where he has her to try to keep her what's the word, in stasis while he looks for a cure. And time is running out. Not only is keeping her in the buffer using a lot of the ship's supplies, but like she's literally just running out of time, and suddenly, and he's been reading this fairy tale to her, the Elysian Kingdom fairy tale, and they always talk about writing your own story whenever they talk about, like, and she's like, I want to change the ending, and the ending is kind of sad in the fairy tale. He's like, yeah, but this is kind of like, it's the end, like this is how it's written. And she's like, does it have to be? It's like, from the mouths of babes come like the most amazing truths, right? And basically what happens is that as they're trapped in this nebula, and Mbenga realizes that and Hemmer realizes that it's an entity who's trying to communicate, who's controlling all this stuff. And then they find out that the entity has basically found Rukia in the transporter buffer and felt her loneliness, and it felt like the entity's loneliness. So the entity and Rukia have been playing together, and that's why everybody on the ship is like looking like is playing roles from this fairy tale. And it turns out though that with this entity and in this entity's proximity, Rukia is healed, and like completely healed, but away from this entity, Rukia is not healed and terminal again. So Mbenga has to say goodbye to his child, like make a choice of how to save his child and say goodbye to her, and chooses to let her go with the entity so that she can live. And and that's very sad, and it hurts. And then next thing you know, boop, here's Mbenga's daughter Rukia all grown up, like literally like a second later, and he's like, wait a minute, how is this? I just said goodbye to you. She's like, yeah, but it's been years with us, because quantum physics. And she's doing great, and she's writing her own story to her life, and she gets to love her dad, and he gets some closure, and and he's proud of her. He's happy. It's a great thing. So this is why it was different for me on rewatch, because when I first watched, I got to admit, when I first watched Strange New Worlds, I was not a huge Mbenga fan, um, because I just felt like I was getting like one note all the time, and it took me a while to warm up to him. But it was these scenes with her. I mean, and like for me, it's not just this one scene, but it's the culmination. It's all, I just chose this as the last scene. It's every scene he had with his daughter. And it was so very tender, so achingly tender, and that I saw a different side of Mbenga, that was not just gruff and, you know, just man, I'm man, I talk now. Like he just like, he was so like, look, he was kind of one note in his
Kind of
pitch,
hardcore scientist.
huh?
Hardcore
Scientist, yeah, scientist, like, more and it made him very much more human. So just watching these all over again, and that scene in particular, like, just really made me fall in love with this character a lot more. And then, there's also like some other episodes in the series that give him more depth and bring out more of his story. And then I really began to like him, like he started to really be fleshed out as a character for me. And I have now, I really like him, Benga, like now I really love him. Like outside of the fact that he's the black doctor on the ship, like, yeah, like that's a given, duh, but yeah, but that scene really, I thought was beautiful and tender, and I loved. Right, on a rewatch, it was more powerful than on the beginning.
I like that. Yeah.
Mm.
I love those scenes with them too.
Mhm.
She's so cute.
I know, right?
It's adorable. Oh my God. When she's dressed up as the princess, oh my God. Oh,
I know. I
Okay.
know.
yeah.
All right. Scene that changed the way you look at a character. Bring it on home, Fran.
Okay. This is mine was episode 4, Memento Mori.
Mhm.
When we find out
Oh,
that
but that's not it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's it.
yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry. My bad.
Okay. When we found out Leon was a sole survivor of a Gorn attack when she was a girl. Because at first I only looked at her as a descendant of Khan. Unions, and oh, she's gonna be this and she's straight, and all this. And then you find out, you get some background on her, and she survived this horrific attack, and she was the only one that survived.
Mhm.
So for me, it took me out of the Khan Noonien Sin thing, thing, whatever.
Yeah.
It took me out of that to, oh my God, her childhood was so trauma. She was so traumatized
Yeah.
as a girl. I mean, because I think I'm not too crazy about the way that they show the going on this show, because I want to see the paper mache green guy with the gold eyes, clumsy, awkward, going. You don't have that now. You have these people, these things that look ugly and put eggs in people and kill and bloody trails and all this. I'm not too crazy about the Goins role on this. But when when she talks about being lone survivor, I'm like, oh my goodness, no wonder she's the way that she's the way that she is. But then I have some empathy for her. Her childhood was traumatizing, and it's I just looked at her in a different light ever since then.
Yeah.
With that and those horrible monsters, aka the Gorn, on Strange New World, whatever. That's it. That's it.
My God, we better hurry up and finish because Fran is winding down.
Strange
Okay.
New Yeah.
So mine,
Yeah, whatever that show is, you know that show.
you know that one. So
Y'all
mine
know
is
me.
yes, mine is All That Wander, episode
Mm,
9. The U.S. Enterprise crew comes face to face with their demons and scary monsters too when their landing party is stranded on a barren planet with a ravenous enemy. I absolutely love this episode. I watch it all the time. It reminds me of The Thing. I love this episode
Oh,
a lot.
oh,
So it's written by Davy Perez and directed by Christopher J. Byrne. Um, the it's not one character. It's Pike, Una, Spock, Mbenga, and Laan. So in this scene, it's the scene that they're cleaning up. Well, Pike and Spock are cleaning up after the cadet send off party. They're having breakfast. Laan walks in and she's telling them about she has to go to the counselor and everything. And Una saying, you want to try this, you need to eat the breakfast. So she missed the breakfast, so Pike gives her the breakfast. They're talking about the mission that they have to do. So and Spock is washing dishes, Pike is getting people bacon, and then all of a sudden Mbenga just, I didn't even know he was in the scene. He just pops and goes, you want to try the waffles too? And then they're talking about everything, and then she goes, oh my God, this is delicious. She goes, what about the extra cheese? Yeah, here it is. It is so domestic.
yeah.
And
Mhm,
at this point, we don't really know these characters. It is the 9th episode, but it is season 1. So, we
mhm.
don't know them very well, but they know each other. A lot of those people just came in. Mbenga and Laan just came in, but they have settled in
yeah.
already. They're doing business, but they're doing business as the command officers. So we get to
Mhm,
see how they interact with each other and how comfortable they are with each other. And I just love that scene. I love the whole episode, but that scene changed the way I looked at all those characters.
mhm.
They just became our crew for me. After that scene. So it's really a good scene. It's a Spock washing dishes, just everything
Come
for
on
me.
now. Come on.
I know, right? You can't get better than that.
And then Mbega all of a sudden, I'm like, wait, was he in this scene? All of a sudden, he just pops up. You want to
Where
try
did
the
he come
waffles
from?
too? He just eating. It's so good.
I love it. Well, mine is basically I just said all of mine. The reason why I got so confused when Fran was talking was that I thought that I did the wrong one because they're so similar for me. The the scene that changed the way I look at a character was it was Ghost of Illyria, but it's the same character. It's Ghosts of Illyria, episode 3, which is written by Akila Cooper, a sister, yay, and Bill Wilkoff, and directed by Leslie Hope. The USS Enterprise encounters a contagion that ravages the ship. One by one, the entire crew is incapacitated except for number one, Una Chin Riley, who must now confront a secret she's been hiding as she races to find a cure. Um, Now this secret, like in Benga, like we find out that this is the episode where we find out that number one is Illyrian, right? But we find this out because she's the only one who's not succumbing to this affliction that's taking over the ship, all the crew members on the ship. And we find that her blood, in fact, is like somehow changing it, like, so that it's fighting it off in this really weird way, right?
Mhm.
So um it's a pivotal episode for her, right? But it was a pivotal one for how I thought about Mbenga because this is where we first see and meet his daughter, Rukia. And this is where we first find out that he's got her in the pattern buffer in stasis. And this is where, and it really like, and you don't find out until the end of the episode. And this is the first time that we just get all that daddy tenderness and that love, and it melted my heart, and so this is where I started to my first inkling that Benga was pretty cool, or that there was more to him. I honestly was going to like, my first initial answer to this one was the first two episodes for Pike. Like the first two episodes, I couldn't narrow it down to just one scene, but those two episodes work in tandem to really tell Pike's story about where he is now. And I started to see a lot more depth in his character. But if we're talking about just one scene, it was this scene. It made me smile. I mean, it was a little heartbreaking, but it made me smile because it was so tender, so sweet. And, she's just adorable. And him as a dad, I was like, I would have loved him as my dad. What a dad. What an amazing dad. Like, so that was the one that made me start to see a little bit differently.
Okay.
I see that. I see that. I see
and
that.
Ta-da! We did it, guys.
Yeah, I think, did we hit every episode? I think we did.
We did. We did all 5 characteristics for all. Yeah, we did them.
Did we do episode 4? Did anybody have anything in episode 4?
Yeah, I think I did.
Episode 4. That's Memento Mori.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. I don't know if we hit all the episodes, but we hit.
Yeah, no, we hit. I think we hit all the episodes.
Yeah, I think we hit each episode. Yeah.
Amazing. That's cool. What a fun experiment. I love it. And if you guys have stuck with us this far, yay, thank you. Like, I mean, a little bit longer than our normal episodes, but not too much. And, but it requires more time to talk about these things, like, without rushing them, yeah, I mean, that was fun. I really enjoyed rewatching Strange New Worlds. And like, admittedly, I didn't rewatch every episode all the way through. Like, if I knew that it wasn't one of the ones that I felt really drawn to, or if I also knew that one of my other sisters had chosen that episode, I switched and, watched a different one. But now I feel compelled to go back and watch the stuff that I didn't finish, And I hope it compels you guys to go back and do a rewatch as well, and I
love season 1.
Yeah, season 1 was real. It was a really strong. I think out of all the series, it was one of the strongest debut seasons out of all of them.
I would agree with that. I think Prodigy also was a strong season 1. Yeah, I think we had said, I think we had mentioned that how Strange New Worlds definitely didn't have a bum episode,
right? In that first season
1,
yeah.
So
they came out swinging.
Yeah, they did.
Like,
they did.
Like, ooh, they here for some business.
Yeah, they did. Lost it all in season 3.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's not hair. I could do
a hair episode on that whole season.
A hair episode on that whole season by itself. Shaking
season 4 is turning out to be pretty good though so far.
Yeah,
it is. It's starting. Well,
Well, it's starting off pretty good. So, you guys, like, we can't wait to hear your thoughts about it. I don't want to go into, I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to taint anybody's first viewing experience with our opinions.
Right.
Let them have their own first viewing experiences, and then we'll talk about it, y'all.
I have to say this. I personally like that episode 1, which is streaming now. You can see.
Yeah.
I like this so much that I've looked at it 3 times.
Oh wow!
I really like that. I really liked it.
It's a good one.
That's great. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And I could do everything because of I could do the closed captioning.
Right.
You
The
can
clue.
hear,
Right.
you can understand what Mabenga's talking about.
Yeah, okay. That's what he said. Okay.
That's what he said. Okay, it's good.
Y'all ain't right. Y'all ain't right. Okay. It's time to shut this down. So, you know. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. Do I have outro stuff that I need to do? Yvette, you have outro stuff that you need to do.
I really do.
Yeah. I wish you would shut me up and do it.
Thank you. Thanks for listening to the SyFy Sistas podcast. During the 60th anniversary of Star Trek, we're honored to continue celebrating the franchise we love and to have named the 2025 Best All Around Star Trek Podcast by Trek Movie. Thank you. Join us on Patreon at patreon.com/SyFy Sistas and be part of the mothership. Join the conversation in the SyFy Sistas Book Club on Facebook. Watch our interviews, live shows, and our infamous Top 10 series on YouTube. SyFy Sistas, Inc. The Trek Geeks Network's presenting sponsor is Fansets. Grab pins and memorabilia from your favorite franchises at fansets.com and use code TrekGeeks, all caps, for 10% off. After listening to this episode, please rate us and write a review. We may just read it on an upcoming episode.
And of course, I need to thank the baddest producers, associate producers in all known galaxies everywhere. And we have a new one to thank this week. Yay. So we're going to thank Sailor Marj, Stephanie Baker, Karen Dramera, and Cleo Townsend. Welcome aboard, my friend.
Welcome.
And thank you so much. And we got to thank everybody else for out there listening to us. And we love you guys. We'll see you next time. Peace, love, and hair grease, friends.